Hi guys, hope you're all doing fabulously well. I am really excited. Welcome back to TPA TV. Today I have to share this platform with someone that I have the absolute highest regard for, someone that is exceptionally dear to me and an important part of my life. Someone that is right up there in the pedestal, someone that I have, like I said, the utmost admiration for. She is an author. She is a holder of 2 degrees. Whenever I get one, she'll double it and get 2. She is a highly acclaimed, inspiring motivator. Yeah, this is Dineshrie Pillay. And I think her highest claim to fame is also, she's my little sister. Hi, Dee-Doll.
Hello, Thees. How are you?
Okay, well, now everybody knows what I call you. It's Dee-Doll. So, but Dineshrie Pillay for the rest of the world. Thank you.
Well, you've been doing it on social media anyway, so why not here, right?
Welcome.
Thank you.
You are an author, a very acclaimed
Yes.
author. I mean, you've been interviewed on every platform, including television. Tell us about that.
That was very, very opportune. I think, you know, when one door of opportunity opens to the next or the next or the next. And when I did the first book, it was, I just wanted to do the book and give that to my delegates, and that was it. And then when I spoke to people in my neighborhood and people around me, it was then becoming very clear that something else needed to be done. So yes, a book launch came out of it, and with the book launch, pictures came out of it. And once you have the pictures, you have the marketing material, you have the content to actually go out and do something with it. So with that came television interviews, came conferences, and then it led to being given the opportunity to be interviewed on television, which opened many more doors for me in that space.
You're a life and business coach, for putting it mildly, among everything else that you do, but this is not how you started. This is not your how you started your career. I mean, by profession, what are you?
I'm a qualified chartered accountant, and I'm a fellow chartered management accountant. So that's the affiliation to CIMA. So you get ACMA, then you get one level higher, which is FCMA. I mean, those 2 qualifications on its own is about 14 years of slogging, of studying, and getting the portfolio of evidence and the training contracts with it, and the experience that's needed to get there. And yes, I'm not in the profession of being a chartered accountant on a daily basis. However, the people that I work with are business-minded themselves. They are leaders in business, they are senior executives, they are people starting their own businesses. And so as a business coach, I understand their background, I understand their world, I understand their challenges. So it's easy for me to actually coach them, to guide them in their business, to understand their challenges. And I run my own business. So I think the 2 qualifications combined is like the best MBA I can get. So nothing lost.
You wrote a book, which is coming out with, I think, the third or fourth edition now. A very tough book. One of the most significant books I can vouch for as being one of the things that, having applied personally, is something that definitely steered me in a direction which I'm very proud to be in now. And you are also my my go-to guy and my guru and my personal and business coach. So thank you for that. But this book, The Contract with Yourself, I mean, the first chapter speaks for itself. I mean, I would confess that this took me about 5 or 6 attempts to get through the first chapter. And the first chapter is called Commitment, which I even told you was one of the hardest chapters. You know, just tone it down a bit, because it forces you to just accept that this is where things are. How important is commitment in self-development?
Commitment is everything. If you haven't got commitment, you are missing out on opportunities in life. If you're unable to discipline yourself to be consistent, to do things regardless of the time of the day, the day of the week, and just apply yourself. If you're unable to make a commitment to yourself and stick to it, how then can you go out in business, in leadership, and in life, and make commitments to other people, because you're breaking the commitment with yourself on a daily basis. So if you are not able to commit to yourself, you are then lying to yourself, you're lying to the rest of the world, because you're breaking an important sacrilege to yourself. So commitment is everything.
So basically, the chapter 1 was testing your commitments to your commitments.
It's testing your commitments to your commitments, and it's also helping you to bring discipline in your life, because I believe that self-discipline is this unstoppable magic. Once you have discipline in your life, discipline is a thing that drives you, it sustains you, it gets you going, and it keeps you going. It's that momentum that fuels your success. So commitment burns it. Commitment also breeds your passion. When you're committed to something and you become really strong in it, you can then have that passion and that desire to achieve things. It's like that turning wheel that starts. It takes long time to get that wheel turning, but when you start turning it, it just then moves on its own. But commitment drives that wheel.
I can see that you're really following your passion. You can just see the passion and the energy that just comes out when I was talking about this now. But yeah, another thing that stood out when I was doing this was two things, your phrase. One was you constantly, it was a dark period in my life, and that is probably for another video at some point in time. But when I used to give you excuses, for lack of better words, or reasons why I believe certain things couldn't be done, and you used to tell me, stop your pity party. And I said, well, but to my sister, you're not allowed to say that to me. Stop your pity parts. And you'd ask me something that I still remember up to now is, what needs to happen for you to take action now? And how important is the issue of pity partying and realizing that that needs to stop? Stop making reasons and excuses.
You see, life is life. And in life, you're going to have experiences. Some of those experiences are good or perceived to be good. And some of those experiences are bad or perceived to be bad. Neither is right or wrong. It's just what is needed at the time to move you forward. So when you are getting into a corner and you're having challenges, remember that the challenge that you are going through right now, mentally, you have attracted that a challenge. Whatever challenge that is, mentally, you're ready to handle it. And so by wallowing in self-pity, you're basically not rising up to the challenge. Life is not about getting to a point of becoming easier for you. Life is about rising to the next level of challenge, because when you rise to the next level of challenge and you embrace it and you overcome it, that's where growth is. And in order to overcome that, commitment then breeds that success, because it allows you to stay passionate and stay focused on it. But if you're going to be wallowing in your self-pity, what happens then is your thoughts attract your outcome. Your thoughts can either be rational or emotional. Rational thoughts allow you to come up with solutions to things. Emotional thoughts keep you stuck in pity parties. So if you are stuck having a pity party, that's most likely because you are being emotional. And what is needed is for you to ask rational questions to get yourself out of a pity party. So emotional thoughts sound something like, oh, why me? Why is this happening to me now? I had a good life 2 months ago. Why do bad things happen to good people? So emotional thoughts are either questions or statements that you say to yourself that keep you stuck into a corner. And all that does, it creates what is known as an emotional hijack. And an emotional hijack, according to Daniel Goleman, who is the author of Emotional Intelligence, is that part of your brain that gets you stuck on something. Pity parties is a good way of getting you stuck. So if you're going to get stuck and wallow in your self-pity, well, by all means, have your pity party, but don't invite me to it. But if you want, you can invite me to your gratitude party, because I believe that life is a blessing. And I believe that every challenge, every experience, whether perceived good or bad, is there to grow you. And until you see the blessing in that, you will not be able to celebrate. So invite me to your gratitude party. In fact, the best party I like celebrating is failures. I hated failures. You talk about me being a chartered accountant. The one failure that has really bred all of this, if I have to go back in history, was me failing my board exam on my third attempt. And at the time, it was just an exam, right? And I couldn't understand why I failed, because this is a dean's commendation student you're looking at here, you know, passed my matric and with A aggregates, passed straight my BCom years, and then this BCom, well, the board exam first part happened. And I remember thinking at the time, it was just passing an exam. But what started off as passing an exam ended up passing a test in life, which is how to deal with failure, how to overcome it, how to grow from it, and how to see the blessing in it. And I'm so thankful that I went through that experience early on, because that experience of dealing with failure helped me deal with failure in my corporate years, in my positions in companies, starting off in business. And you know what? I go through tough times too. People sort of look at me and think, oh, but you don't understand my pain. Well, sit with me for a little bit longer. I'll tell you what I have to deal with on a daily basis. But what I have learned is tools, techniques, thinking, trends. And these are the techniques, the trends, the tools that I teach people how to get through. And so I've learned not to self-pity, wallow in this. I have what is known as a 24-hour rule, and you know this. And I believe that when the earth rotates on its axis, I must rotate with it. So yes, today I might be going through stuff, and yes, today might be challenging. And I've had a few challenging days last week, by the way. I'll tell you about that some other time. But my rule is when the earth rotates, I must rotate with it. So no pity parties, just parties of gratitude.
You know, I didn't understand that 24-hour rule. And this for those that don't know, sometimes my sister would say, I should go through some stuff. And, well, you have 24 hours. And nothing should last more than 24 hours in terms of keeping you in that mental state. I didn't quite grasp it at the time, but she was fruit loopy. But yes, I come to appreciate that that is how you would feel about those circumstances then, but then you move on and you have the choice to feel differently. But yeah, you know, people are going to say that it's one thing, this is the most challenging time, and that mindset can damper or is dampering. What would you say to, as a response to having regard to both the challenges we are going through and continue to go through during the COVID period, and marrying that with the need to take advantage of opportunities? How do you draw a comparison? How do you inspire people that have the mindset that this is too debilitating? They can't have, there's no control.
What I learned from T. Harv Eker is that what you focus on expands. So if you're going to focus on the problem gets bigger. If you're going to focus on a solution, the solution gets bigger. So the first question I have to ask your audiences is, what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on the problem, or are you focusing on a solution? Because that is going to be the heart of what drives you. The second thing that I can teach or guide on is what I've learned from Tony Robbins, which is, in life, you make 3 decisions, and you're making it right now. There are 3 decisions that will unconsciously, subconsciously, and substantially change the direction and the course of your life. Decision number 1 is, what do you focus on? Are you focusing on how bad the situation is? And as a result, you then feed off this information by watching more news channels, by feeding off it on social media platforms, and feeding off it by the people that you associate with. So what are you focusing on? Second, what does it mean for you? Does it mean the end of the world for you? Or does it mean the beginning? Does it mean it's going to all completely be a catastrophe for your life? Or does it mean that it's an opportunity for you to grow in a different way? And the third decision is what action you're going to be taking. So as a consequence of you focusing, what does it mean for you? The third is, what are you going to do about it? And that is going to drive your outcome.
You know, one of the things you used to call me, it took me a while to grasp, and took me a longer time to actually apply, because I was so used to living in a certain way. was the thing about decluttering your life. You know, and I must confess that I was very resistant to that. Still believing in the whole nonsense, or my nonsense about organized chaos and all that kind of stuff. How important is that, decluttering your life?
Your mind is a system, and a system works better when it is organized, full stop. So in order for you to think more clearly, you need to have organization around you. And that comes from your workspace. It comes from the routine that you have on a daily basis. It comes from your environment. It comes from what you eat. And are you cluttering your system or clogging up your system with sugar, starch, fattening foods, chips, anything that's unhealthy? So decluttering is a topic on its own, but it's everything to do with your environment, with what you do on a daily basis, and what you feed your system, because I believe that your system is powerful. And if you look after your system a little bit more than you look after your vehicle, your system will actually work for you and not against you. And this is what I mean by declutter. So declutter yourself, your environment, and your life.
Yeah, I also went for the Tony Robbins, thanks to you. Didn't quite on the same scheduled trip, but one of the things I remember him saying was your reality is based on your rituals. Your rituals determine your reality. Whoa, what is that exactly?
Yeah. What you do on a daily basis is going to create this momentum for you. It's that continuity, it's that consistency that you build. And you know, I must admit, even myself, I went through my moments in lockdown because there were times, especially the first 2 weeks, where I felt I was just overworking because my own clients that I coach were not able to meet me during the working hours. I found I was trying to accommodate them in the evenings, 7 to 8, 8 to 9 on weekends, Saturday, Sunday, sometimes on a Saturday evening. And eventually it just became unsustainable. So as much as I say all of this, I also go through my own stuff. I definitely went through that myself. And I actually went through a few days, you know, yay, all my work is done because I've completed it for the day. But I get to the end of the day, my house is dirty. My environment is not clean. I don't have pajamas because I didn't do the washing that morning. And then I asked myself, you know, is that sustainable? And it's not. So as part of rituals, what I've started doing is creating blocks of time, because I don't believe in life balance anymore. This is life integration. You need to integrate work into your life and make this sustainable. And so I am sustained when I do things for myself. So when I rob myself what I need on a daily basis, then it's as if I'm on reserve energy. And I can't work on reserve energy to then give to my clients. So I need to be looking after myself first. So what do I do now? What does my rituals look like now? I still get up at 4:45 in the morning. Yes, it's 3 degrees now in Johannesburg.
I saw that video you posted. The point there was your commitment to getting up and going out, irrespective of how cold it was and how difficult it is to get out of the warm bed into freezing -2. But it was you being committed to your commitment.
Yeah, it was being committed to that. And it's also about challenging myself. You know, I believe in challenging myself and showing myself that I can do something. It has nothing to do with my age. It has nothing to do with my background. It has nothing to do with anything but my belief system. If I can challenge my belief system on a daily basis, I'm pushing myself out of my comfort zone. I'm showing myself that I can do this. If I can show myself I can do this with my clients.
Awesome. You know, everyone now is grappling with their own challenges and questions out there, not just about survival, but how to achieve a level of success that ordinarily might seem a bit more challenging or difficult. Any advice on that question?
Broad question. I can answer it in this way. In order to achieve success, you first need to figure out what you are doing on a daily basis. I believe that what you do on a daily basis should not be dictated by your title. It should be dictated by how you serve. As an example, how you serve. What are you doing on a daily basis to serve? To serve a need that is greater than yourself. As an example, so you mentioned my designations, my CASA, I'm a distinguished Toastmaster. I'm currently applying for my international accreditation as a coach. I'm an FCMA, but you know, none of those designations are on my business card. It just says Dineshrie Pillay. None of those designations are on my headline of my LinkedIn account. It just says Dineshrie Pillay. If you read the subtext, then you'll find out, oh, okay, she's a chartered accountant. But why do I do that? I don't let my designations define me. I'm defined by how I serve. I'm defined by what I do on a daily basis to bring out something else in individuals. And if whatever that means for me, whether it's putting out a post of inspiration and someone reads and is like, oh, wow, Dineshrie, thank you. I read that today and it made a difference to me. Or in my coaching clients, I help someone through a difficulty in their situation, whether it's helping them lead remotely or helping them work in their teams remotely, or whether it's just dealing with life. And they tell me this. Or whether it's someone that read my book, read my article, and they actually send a picture of them reading my book on Instagram, like someone did 2 weeks ago. That gives me the feedback that I'm serving. And if I can do that on a larger scale, on a bigger scale, and impact more people on a daily basis through videos like this, then it's defining me. So to answer your question, success is defined by how you serve. What are you doing on a daily basis that's bigger than you? So you're not in the self-pity mode. You're not having pity parties. You're thinking about everything around you, your society at large, and what are you doing differently to bring out something else in you?
It's Dina, inspiring and heartwarming, and it's brilliant just talking to you again and sharing with everyone what I've come to appreciate from our chats over the years. Thank you so much.
Okay.
If people want to get in touch with you, people want to follow you, how do they do that?
Oh, yes, they can follow me on my business page. It's at Dineshrie Pillay Speaks. They can follow me on LinkedIn. They can find me under my name, Dineshrie Pillay. Twitter, at Dineshrie Pillay. Instagram, Dineshrie Pillay again. So it's my name. Just find my name. Or they can find me on my website, www.dineshriepillay.com. And I'd really encourage people to follow me because you can get inspirational advice on a daily basis. You can tap into my YouTube account and subscribe to that. I'm regularly posting inspirational videos, uploading inspirational talks for free to help you. I conduct a Friday's live webinar on Facebook on different topics. This Friday's topic, as an example, is the 7 behaviors that will help you be able to work from home. I mean, you'd like to know that, right? And so there are similar topics like that. I have free videos, as I said, on my website, free resources, articles. So there's lots of free stuff that's already readily available that can help individuals.
Thank you so much. And an honor this time to ask you questions.
Oh, I love it. My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, love. Cheers.